We're at the pickleball courts. Me versus Dave. You better watch out. We're gonna do a podcast after this, but we gotta get his juices flowing so he gets warmed up.
I've always been a Mario guy.
I get the villager and then I build a tree, and then I put chop it once. Buddy Eric's like, hey, he might want to play pickleball. You should take him to play pickleball. All right, welcome to the Athletes Ocean podcast. We're here with Dave, aka DGR, aka just pure athlete. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we know Dave because one of our co-founders, Eric Lundgren, you guys were best friends in high school.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, and Dave's a really successful YouTube star now, a streamer. And so he was gracious enough to come onto the podcast and talk about his story a little bit, talk about, obviously he's a big wrestling fan, so he got his Penn State Wrestling shirt on.
Very sweaty too.
Yeah, so we got a lot to talk about today, but yeah, I just appreciate you having you on.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. Eric had mentioned it, and I was like, "You sure you know, I haven't wrestled in a long time, but I love wrestling." And I was like, He's like, "Do you want to come on a podcast?" I'm like, "Absolutely." Wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you and Eric were best friends. Tell me your favorite story from growing up with Eric, because I need to know all the details.
There's so many good ones. Probably my favorite story, other than just beating him all the time in practice, was, I think it was our 9th grade year. We were wrestling a team to go to team wrestling states. And there was this kid, it would have been the 4th time I wrestled him. And each time I'd teched him.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the fall. And we needed that 6 points. We needed the fall to get, to beat this team to go to team states. And I could never do it. So the coach had Eric cut some weight to get down to my weight because he thought Eric was a pinner. So Eric dropped down and ended up, I don't even know if he got a major decision on
He just got a regular decision.
And then we didn't end up going to team states. But then Eric kind of beefed up and got better. I don't want to rag on Eric
So
too
basically
much.
Eric sold.
Yes.
Yeah, he sold it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's tough.
Me and Eric we're good friends, and we used to hang out at each other's house all the time, and a lot of good memories.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Eric's one of my favorite people. So
he's a great guy.
So after you wrestled through high school,
Yeah.
and then you started streaming in 2016.
Right.
So how big of a gap was it between? I don't want to tell the audience how old you are. If you want to do the math, you can do the math. But how big of a gap? What were you doing since high school? I mean, you went to college.
Went to college,
and then how big of a gap between college and streaming? And what were you doing during that time? And kind of what got you into streaming?
Absolutely. So I mean, wrestling has always been once you wrestle, you feel like a connection with wrestling. Once wrestling's in your blood, it's in your blood, no matter how far you go with it. I stopped wrestling after high school. I thought about wrestling in college. I had a couple offers to wrestle at D3 places, but I didn't want to pursue that. I wanted to focus on my studies. So I went to a local college, got my bachelor's degree in marketing, and then I started worked at a local newspaper for a little bit. Then I was working overnight at UPS as a manager there. And then actually started working at Penn State and became an admissions counselor there. And then how the whole streaming thing got started was...
So you were actually probably on my admission, because right around 2014...
I might have.
You might have accepted me.
That might have been me.
Let's go. Let's go.
And then my oldest daughter was born, and I had 2 weeks off of work. And so, when a new baby is born... They can't do a whole lot. They poop and eat and sleep, and that's pretty much it. So I had 2 weeks off of work, and so I just started live streaming as a hobby, thinking, something fun to do, and never thinking it would turn into what it's turned into today.
Yeah, you've grown up a pretty successful YouTube.
Yeah,
like
I said,
almost 800,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we're 600 something, which I'm so thankful for.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, when I started, it was never my goal to become a YouTuber or say it was my job or anything like that. It just kind of naturally turned into that, and like I said, I'm thankful for it every day.
Oh yeah, I get to do something you love, and get to pick your own hours and just
It's been so great, especially with having kids. I see them so much more than I was, because how it was before, I was working 40 hours a week at my normal job, and then I would do an extra 20 or 30 hours streaming on the side. So I would see my kids when I got home from work for a couple hours. They'd go to bed, and then I'd be working on videos or streaming or something any free moment I got. So it's been great for just the family time alone.
yeah,
Has been worth it.
spend some time with your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. What are some of your favorite games to stream? What did you start out streaming, and now what are you streaming most often now?
Sure. So I grew up as a Nintendo gamer. I've always been a Mario guy. And so when I started streaming, the big game was called Super Mario Maker. And what it is, people can make levels and submit them to you, and you can play their Mario levels.
That's
so
cool.
They can be super easy. They can be impossible. They can be funny. So it's basically like endless content. And it's funny, like, that's what I started out playing, and I still play it to this day because people are still...
They're trying
There's like over 30 million levels out there. So
wow.
You could literally play forever and not run out.
Yeah.
But so they made a second Mario Maker, and that's what I still primarily play. But yeah, anything Nintendo, I pretty much play.
That's cool. Do you think that you could beat me at Super Smash Bros?
I don't want to brag, but
I'm pretty good. I play with the villager. And
okay, we're playing on that. See, I'm really good at the N64 one.
I play on the Wii U.
Okay,
So,
I dabble in the Wii U.
Okay.
I would like to
What
try.
I do is I just I get the villager and then I build a tree, and then I put chop it once, and then especially when we're playing like an 8-man game, I'll chop it once and I'll sit on the edge of the map. Anytime someone comes close to me, I just chop the tree over and get them away from me, and then I hurry up and plant another tree, that little down B. And then the tree grows, and then I just protect myself. So unless you're like Kirby, you can't like fly
You
around.
have a strat and everything.
Yeah.
I used to play the Wii U version quite a bit. I always used to play as was it the Wii Fit Trainer?
Oh yeah, they're fast.
Yeah.
The Wii Fit Trainer's fast.
And but 8-man, I remember playing 8-man. That's almost like too chaotic for my brain, because it's like I can't keep track of who I am or
I started
where my character's at.
I started playing live, and I would absolutely get smoked from like the pros. Like I was like, okay, because I'd play like local games with my buddies. That's actually what we did. Like my junior and senior year of college, we got a Wii U in the and we played Fortnite too. But
Yeah.
we got a Wii U in the locker room, and basically the last 3 years of college, we'd just go in there. Anytime we had a break from class or anything, we'd just go in and we'd get 8-man player. We'd play 4-on-4, or we'd play individual sometimes. We'd get on
That's
Temple,
awesome.
and we'd just go and I would hide down like on the little bottom shelf on Temple in the bottom right of the map. And it was a lot of fun. Obviously, like video games are a great way to bond with your friends and
Absolutely.
spend some time.
Were you the best on the Penn State team?
Yeah.
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 Anybody give you a run for your money or anything?
A lot of people would claim that they're the best, but
Right.
we get out. We got Cade Moss. We got obviously Bo Nickel played a lot. Nick Nevels, George Carpenter. We had a lot of guys that thought they were pretty good, but
Right.
I'm
If they
never
think
gonna
about it,
say
they
I'm never
know.
gonna say that somebody's gonna beat me. You put me on that, I'll bet money on myself. Put me out there and I'll be ready to go. So that was a fun game, and then we got into Fortnite. And Fortnite was, I think, my senior year. It was like kind of came out in like 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. And I would play like all day at my house. And
It's still really popular.
Yeah.
Fortnite's still very popular.
yeah,
I was actually, we were going to talk about this later, but kind of going into it, like Spencer Lee, I've been streaming with him, and he does a lot of Fortnite, and like it's cool to see that it's still going strong.
yeah. So would you say that what is bigger right now, Fortnite or Mario?
Man, it's
Because I know there's a crowd for both.
there is a crowd for both, and it's hard to say what's. I would probably say Fortnite's bigger, but I don't know by how much, especially because like Mario's super popular now because of the Mario movie that came out, which did incredibly well. And there's a new Mario game coming out in October that a lot of people are really excited about, myself included. It looks really fun for the Switch. So it's hard to say. Mario's also timeless.
Yeah.
You can also see 50, 60-year-olds playing Mario. I don't know how many 50, 60-year-olds you're going to see playing Fortnite.
Yeah, yeah.
But Fortnite's also free.
Yeah.
And it's on every
every
platform. So
well, I'm not going to lie. You're motivating me right now to go home and get my Wii U out and start playing Mario again. And I want to and I want to start watching you stream some more. And, it's...
Mario's timeless, like...
I want to start beating some of these
it.
levels.
Yeah, and that's the really fun thing about Mario Maker is that, and why I still play it is because there's levels for every skill level. There's levels for beginners, like my daughter plays.
Yeah.
And there's easy levels that she can play and feel good about beating. And then if you've been playing Mario for a long time, there's a bunch of really hard levels that will maybe take you an hour or more to beat. So you can kind of tailor it to what your skill level is.
Yeah. That's cool. So what does it take today to become like a streamer? Like for people that want to go out and be a successful streamer, what does that take? Does it just take hours? You got to be good. You got to have a good personality.
That's a great question. I actually get asked that a lot.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to say. Especially after COVID, like the amount of people that started streaming was crazy. Like there was a lot of people that streamed before COVID, but when people had that time at home, a lot more people started dipping their toes into it and trying it out. And so to stand out, it's, it can be a challenge for sure, but the biggest thing for me, success will be different for everybody. There's some people that success to them is, getting 5 or 10 people watching them. So
that was success for me earlier on. I'd stream Fortnite for a few days, and I'd be like having like 3 viewers. I'm like, who is watching me right now? Like, who wants to watch me play Fortnite? I didn't have a webcam or anything, so they could just see my screen. But I used to watch Ninja and people. I would watch like the World Championships. I'm like, why am I watching the World? But it's exciting. It's fun.
It's a different era, and like I get that question a lot. Trying to describe to my parents and my grandparents and people what I do for a living, they try to follow along, but it's so different than what they're used to.
Yeah.
The world is definitely so different. So, I mean, getting back to like what it takes to be successful and whatnot, having goals is always good, but I always tell people don't start streaming thinking it's going to, be your new job or be something like that. Go into it because you're interested and passionate and want to meet. For me, it was an opportunity to meet new people.
Yeah.
Like being a dad, I didn't get to go out and meet new people very much, and I wasn't a bar guy or anything like that. So I met some of my best friends in the world through streaming. So I always tell people, start streaming for an opportunity to meet new people and with like interests. Because if you're playing Mario, people that come to watch you are liking Mario. So you're going to already have some similar interests. And, if it goes somewhere from there, awesome.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, maybe you've met some new friends along the way.
Yeah.
And
do it because you love it and because it's fun. And I mean,
correct.
That completely translates to pretty much everything in life. Whenever you're having fun doing what you love to do, you're more likely to be successful.
Absolutely.
If you're doing a job or, say you're wrestling and you don't love it, you're not having fun, you go in every day like not happy to be there, and when you're not happy to be there, then you're not going to work as hard and you're not going to be as successful. But when the biggest trait that you see, and you can kind of see it before somebody competes, you can pick who's going to win by who's more enthusiastic, who's having a good time while they're there. And I'm not talking about being goofy and screwing around and at practice. Like we talk about having fun. It's not, having fun isn't screwing around and not working hard. Having fun is exploring the sport and trying to get better and trying to be creative and enjoying it and doing it passionately. And I think that's why Penn State's so successful, because every day people want to be at practice, and the people that want to be at practice the most are the most successful. Right. And so I mean, that's spot on. And whatever you're doing, you can always apply it to Coach Kale talks about, like, when you hear a story, when you're watching something, let that translate, or try to think about how it applies to you in your life. And so, I mean, I can apply that to my life pretty easily there.
Absolutely.
'Cause
And,
I have fun wrestling.
yeah, I know. It's like you can always tell you have fun when you wrestle too, and that's why I love watching Penn State Wrestling. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt because you can just tell. Like I absorb as much Penn State Wrestling interviews and things just to hear what it's like to be a Penn State wrestler, because the whole team, it just, when I watch other teams, when I watch Penn State wrestle other teams, or I watch a different dual meet, the dynamic within Penn State Wrestling just seems so different in a good way.
Yeah.
Compared to some other teams, and I think it comes back to, like, you guys just seem to enjoy wrestling.
Our coaches understand it too. I mean, our coaches have been some of the most successful wrestlers of all time.
Right.
Obviously, Coach Kale is. So he knows what it takes to be successful. And, and other coaches have been successful too. But I think the way that Coach Kale leads the program, and, it's not always about technique, and it's not always about, specific like technique or speed or strength. It's about how you train and how you view the sport. And if you can come in and be excited to go compete, and when you come into practice you're excited to be at practice, that's really why we peak at the right time. It's not because of the moves that we hit, or because of the amount that we run, or anything else. It's because our coaches lead us, and I can't explain that to somebody.
Right.
They have it. You know what I mean? People are like, what's going on at Penn State?
The secret,
and I'm like,
the Penn State secret,
I'm like,
you always hear.
It's the coaches. Like, it's just the people they are. They're great people, and they know how to lead a team.
Right.
And there's not much that.
And the results speak for themselves.
Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, I love it.
And I love watching it. It's when wrestling season starts, my wife kind of dreads it. She likes wrestling too, but she dreads it because she knows, like, my life revolves around Penn State Wrestling. I don't get to as many matches as I'd like to, but I watch or listen to every single one.
What was your I'll ask you two questions.
Okay.
What was your favorite individual Penn State match of all time? And then your favorite team duel of all time from Penn State?
That's a good question. There's so many good ones. You were one of my favorite wrestlers to watch, just because, and I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting next to you. Like, that.
It's okay if
that'd be easier.
It's okay if you are.
It was just the way you wrestled. You and Bo were probably my favorite two wrestlers to watch, just because of every match. I never knew what I was going to see.
Yeah.
It was going to be something different, and I knew you guys were just going out, and it was... You didn't care about the score necessarily. It was like you were trying to score.
I wanted to score as many points as I could and then pin my opponent.
And that's just so exciting as the fan to watch. And not that there's anything wrong with winning a match 3-2 or anything like that.
There's something wrong with
it.
There's something wrong with it. When you're a lot better than a guy, there's something wrong with it.
Right.
But, I mean, obviously, if you're going against a guy that is the same level as you,
correct,
then there's nothing wrong with it.
But as a fan watching, it's just so fun seeing takedowns and the different moves that he pull, and like, whoa, how did he do that, and things like that. So, I mean, I think my favorite individual, just because I didn't expect it, and it wasn't because I was doubting him that he could win, but I think the NCAA finals when Vincenzo Joseph,
I knew you were going to say that. That's my favorite too. Yeah.
That just, a funny story, my cousin, who's also a huge wrestling fan, my cousin John, he was saying, he was watching it. We weren't together, but he was so excited he jumped up into the air, punched his ceiling, and he had a newborn baby.
No.
And it woke the baby upstairs. So he got in trouble for that, but he's like, it was so worth it because, again, not that you doubted him, but you knew the competitive beast that Imar was.
Yeah.
You would know.
I would know.
Yeah.
He beat me in the finals the year before, so.
But just seeing that and seeing that happen was incredible. But I mean, also that the time when Bo pinned Miles Martin and won and secured the team, that was awesome. In terms of dual meet,
were you at the Penn State Ohio State dual meet in 2018?
I was.
I was hurt. I was on crutches. That was my favorite duel.
Because you got to watch that one.
I got to watch it. I got to like enjoy the atmosphere, because typically I'm like just like dialed in and I'm like ready to go, and once I'm done wrestling, then I can kind of enjoy it, but I'm still like cooling down. I miss half the matches because I'm either warming up or cooling down.
Right.
But that whole duel, there was so much tension in the air. The Ohio State guys came out in robes. One of my best friends is Kyle Snyder, and I always give him. We were just giving him a hard time yesterday about this. I was like, "What are you guys coming out in robes for?" And then and then we say like Nick Neville's is also one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And Nick took him down first, and like
I remember
Nick didn't get tech falled to win the match for the team. So
I'm gonna go with that as my favorite
Yeah.
because it was a great duel, and I was there, and it was, yeah. I mean, there's been so many memorable matches, and
I just love that everywhere we go, it's I almost started singing a song. What's that? I don't know.
I know it's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But everywhere we go is always sold out. So
Yeah.
whether we were at Purdue or Indiana or Iowa or whatever, we always got a sold out crowd, and
Right.
that's one of my favorite reasons for going to Penn State. And I mean, who doesn't want to go out and perform well in front of thousands and thousands
Absolutely.
of people? So
That's what you're training for, you know?
yeah,
And wrestling's such a unique sport in that it's a team sport, but it's so much an individual sport. And, you know, when you're out on the mat, you can't blame anybody.
yeah,
If you mess up, you can't.
it's tough.
You can blame your coaches, but no one's going to.
Yeah,
You're the one that's
Yeah.
doing the wrestling.
It's such a tough sport because I mean, it's all or nothing. You
Yep.
either win or you lose, and it's like.
Yep.
But would you say that you're loyal to Penn State?
I'm pretty loyal. I'm an alumni. I've gotten to know. I don't want to just keep name dropping Spencer Lee, but I've gotten to know Spencer pretty good through. We've been streaming together and doing some videos.
I was gonna try to catch you and be like, "So what's the deal with Spencer?"
I ruined.
He's a
the
PA
surprise.
guy.
He's a PA guy. I love the sport of wrestling. Obviously, being an alumni, and you know, I love the Penn State style of wrestling. So it's gonna be hard for me to ever cheer against
Yeah,
Penn State.
I love watching Spencer wrestle. He's one of my. I mean, he's a guy that wants to go out and score a bunch of points and get a ton of pins.
I cannot, when I watch him wrestle, he makes it look so easy, his tilts,
Yeah,
and I can't comprehend it because, you know, it's been a while since I've
let him
wrestled.
get on top of you, and then you'll comprehend it. He is so strong. We have a video. He just filmed an instructional with us on Ocean, and we're about to release it soon. But I said, hey, because Nick Lee bet me. He said, hey, no, he didn't even bet me. He just said, if Spencer got a locked up bar arm and wrist on you, he would pin you 100% of the time. And I said, there's 0% chance of that. I'm 40 pounds bigger than him.
Right.
And so when Spencer got, we had the national team camp here, and Spencer came up, and so we filmed with Spencer. And after the instructional, I was like, put me in a bar arm right now. And I told him what Nick said, and he almost tore my shoulder off. I think my shoulder's still sore from it. And he like rolled me through, and luckily I was like just strong enough to like lace his legs up and like not get pinned. But he like, if it was freestyle, I mean, he was just rolling me through like, and he's like crazy strong. I'm like, I'm 180 pounds. Spencer's maybe 135 right now.
Right.
So, but now I understand when he gets a hold of, when he gets his bar arm
The guy's
series.
his same weight too.
Yeah. If you guys are watching and you don't know Spencer's bar arm, you got to buy that instructional immediately if you want to.
I don't even wrestle anymore,
Yeah.
and I might buy it.
Yeah.
So I can learn it.
It's crazy. And I mean, he's just so strong too.
Yeah, it's like when you watch him, it looks like he's a man amongst boys in that.
Yeah.
In the fact that he's just like doing whatever he wants.
Well, yeah, I mean, you watch him. We would watch him, and we'd be like, "This guy's just going right to his back, and they're just giving up."
Yeah, they're giving up. What are they doing?
But then
know?
you wrestle him, and it's like they're not giving up. He's just that good. He's just that good, and it's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, obviously, I was trying to trap you with that Penn State.
You almost got me.
I was trying to trap you,
You
but
almost got me.
yeah, no. What else have you learned from wrestling that you can translate to your life now? Because we talked about having fun and
Right.
being passionate about what you do.
Right.
That's one of the most important things that we talk about at Penn State. But what else have you learned that you maybe think about daily or that translates into your life now?
Yeah, wrestling is it is, if you've never wrestled before, or if you have wrestled before, you know how difficult it is. I think for me, it's like going through seasons of wrestling and, you know, the cutting weight, the workouts, the practices. It's like if you can wrestle, you can do anything. Like, you can get through anything. And even though I didn't wrestle in college and I never trained for the Olympics or anything like that, I have a bit of knowledge of what goes through a wrestling practice, and going up against an individual who their only goal is to stop you and your goal is to stop them. It's strength against strength. I've just learned that, you know, if I can get through a wrestling match or a wrestling practice, everybody's watching me, you know, I can get through anything. And it's actually helped me with my job. Like, I used to get super nervous with wrestling matches because everyone's watching you, and, you know,
I still get nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, so then other jobs, when I've had to do public speaking, or even now with streaming, I can be in front of hundreds of people, and I'm not as nervous because I've been in scenarios similar to that.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly, but I know what it's like to have the attention and how to kind of handle those nerves. Do I still get nervous and things? Yeah, absolutely. But it's how you deal with the nerves and things like that I definitely learned through
View
wrestling.
them as a blessing. That's something we talk about. Like, if you're afraid of the nerves and you think they're a bad thing, then they're going to be a bad thing. But if you say, hey, this means that there's something, like, I've put myself in a position to get nervous, which means I'm doing something right. You know, I have an opportunity here to do something cool. And, you know, I think the nerves are going to help. I mean, in wrestling, they're going to help you be sharper and stronger and faster. You know, it's going to help your adrenaline kick in. If you're not nervous, then that system's not going to turn on in your body. You're going to do worse.
Right. So
we view nerves as a good thing, and it's probably the same thing for streaming. And, you know, it's going to help you stay more focused and, you know, more attentive, and just going to help you, like, your reaction time be a little bit faster.
Right.
And so
that's a great mindset. And for me, it's I've been put in this position. I've been blessed to be put in this position. I'm in this position for a reason. I've tried to close the door a couple times on streaming. I've had other opportunities, and, you know, those doors shut, and the streaming door has stayed open. So I'm very thankful, and I view it, there's a reason I'm doing it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's higher than me, if you know what I mean. So I'm just so thankful, and you know, for me, streaming is, if I can be a positive influence for somebody's day, because the internet, as you know, can be a cesspool sometimes.
Yeah.
Constant bad news. You go on Twitter, or I guess it's X now, you know, Facebook. It's just constant.
People are just trying to argue with each other.
It's so
trying
bad.
to bring
And
negativity.
so I just look at it as in my position to, I have the opportunity
be a light to others.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's my goal. It's not to see how many viewers I can get. It's not to see how many clicks I can get. Obviously, you have to get that a little bit because it's my job. You know, that puts food on my table. But that's not my motivation and reason why I do what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard somebody say, you know, they kind of trick themselves into saying, like, when I go out there, I just have to give it my best attitude and my best effort and not care about the result. And they do care about the result, but they know if they give their best attitude and effort, that they'll get the results that they want.
Right.
And it's like, when you just focus on things that you can control, then the results will happen. But if you're too focused on winning or getting the followers or making money,
Right.
then it's harder for the results to happen, and you're a lot more stressed in a daily life, where it's like, my motto, do the best you can with what you're given every day.
Right.
Some days you might be feeling sick. Your back might be hurting. You might, you know, but give your best every single day. And, you know, your best might not be the same every single day.
Right.
But if you give your best, and it's not to make excuses like, oh, my back hurts today, you know, my best isn't going to be as good. No, still try to perform at your best. But, you know, when you just do the best you can, have the best attitude you can, the results are going to happen.
Absolutely.
And it might take a little bit longer than you expect. You know, it takes different people. Everybody has their own story and their own journey. And,
Right.
and I believe that God uses that for the good. So, you know, even if it takes you maybe 10, 15 more years than other people to be successful or to get you where you want to be in life, then that's your story. You know,
Right.
Everybody has their own story. And I think that's why life is so cool.
Very. Yeah, I think analytics and stuff are great to an extent, but if you're just focusing on analytics, you're missing out on so much.
Yeah.
And that's like, for me, I turn, so there's a way you can look how many people are watching you when you stream. And for me, I turn that off because I don't want my focus being on, okay, today I have 1,000 people watching me. Great. Oh, today I only have 300 people watching me. I need to be trying to be a light, no matter how many people are watching me, whether it's 1 or 1,000. I want to try to make that person's day a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
And do I always succeed at that? No, there are definitely times I do not, and will do or say something I regret. But that's always my mindset when I start a stream. Before I hit go live, it's always, think of why you're doing this.
Yeah.
You're not doing this for yourself. You want to do this for others.
That's a great message. I think if more people thought that way, life would be a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what can I do to serve others? And I mean that's like one of our greatest missions is to serve others.
Absolutely.
And to be selfless. Put others before yourself.
Absolutely.
And when you can do that, I mean, you can be a lot happier. You might think that I need to be selfish for this or that, but if it'll come around for you in a good way if you are selfless.
Absolutely.
Putting others ahead of you. So
I firmly agree with that.
And I appreciate you putting me ahead of yourself today in pickleball because you made my day better.
Yeah. Next time I won't be as nice. Keep that in mind.
Well, so we'll end on this conversation. We'll talk about pickleball a little bit. So, as I introduced him as a pure athlete, he came up. Our buddy Eric's like, "Hey, he might want to play pickleball. You should take him to play pickleball." So I was like, "All right," and he's like, "Be careful because he's really good at everything." And I'm like, "All right." So we're hitting the ball around a little bit, and I think the first game was a beat down.
We don't need to talk about the score.
Yeah,
we don't.
But he did make adjustments though. And I think the greatest athletes and the greatest streamers, they make adjustments. When you're trying hard, you're gonna make adjustments. And the second game, I only beat him 11-4, so it was a lot more competitive. And
hey, it was like 3-2 for a solid 10 minutes. We just kept breaking each other's serve. So,
but he wanted to put me ahead of himself, so he gave me that win.
Exactly.
And John behind the camera, he put everybody ahead of him today. He didn't want to win today because he wanted everybody else to feel good.
And I appreciated that.
Yeah.
That made me feel so much more comfortable.
He let you beat him 11-0.
When I won 11-0, it was like, okay, I can hang out.
Yeah.
I can hang with the big boys here.
Yeah, exactly. So
appreciate
you, John. And do you got anything else for us today?
No, I appreciate you having me on, and thank you, Eric, for setting this up. This is it's been a really cool opportunity.
I'm sure we'll have you back on soon, and if maybe stick around, maybe we'll add some pickleball highlights to the end of this clip.
Just me winning, please.
It's
if
him
you
on
can
the
find
ground.
any clips, John.
So yeah, so I appreciate you, man. Thanks
Absolutely.
for being on.
Thank you.
So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Get him running side to side. Go over. Ah! All right, there we go.
Said if he falls and hurts himself, just yell for me or call me. I'll be right over.
Insurance cards, right?
Perfect. I do have insurance for the hospital visit after. He's not older now. Mid-30s. It hits him. It hits him hard.
Oh no!
I'm gonna pretend I meant to hit it there.
Come on. Dang it! It's the paddle, huh?
It's the paddle.
6-1.
Oh, you're a dinker. That's good. Really good. How many excuses can I come up with? Good game.
Let's touch tips.
Touch tips. All right, 1-2.
Top to top.
No, I can't. This is good. This is good footage. 3-2. Oh. Oh.
What happened?
The wind. 10-4.
You know what that felt like as a non-wrestler? Felt like a guy was gassing in the third period, and you knew it.
I started to turn it up a little
And
bit.
you just turned it up. I felt like all those poor guys you wrestled.
Oh man.
You didn't get that.
How do I zoom?
You just
Come on, dude. I told you. Jeez.
Oh no.
Oh jeez. What the heck?
What happened, John?
the ball just
It's called wind.
it just turned away from me.
You're like positive. I was like 70%, so I don't.
He's pretty good. How did you beat him? Which side?
Right side. When you have 0 points, you start on the right side.
Oh, good to know. Good to know.
Way to put that in.
Thanks, Jason.
Oh, you're so nice, John.
I'm just like a sweetheart, honestly.
10-0 game point.
Ah. Stop. I'm editing this, so if I don't want it in there, it won't
Shake
go
hands.
in there. Oh, that's tough.
What's your game plan to make adjustments for the next time?
For the next time, hope Jason messes up.
I don't want to say anything, but Jason did beat me 11-1 at the first game.
What's the key to beating me? It's a trick question. There is no key. There's no beating me.